good morning. Welcome to the second day for the second seminar of football with F of feminine evolution for Iscomebol. It's a great pleasure to receive you all here in Bucaramanga. We are very excited because we are in the countdown for the final, which will be tomorrow. The stadium is going to be full, and the challenge is going to be Colombia versus Brazil. Two teams have classified for the Olympics of Paris 2024, and obviously both of them have classified for the World Cup in the next year that is going to be developed in Australia and New Zealand. Today we're going to have another classified directly between Paraguay against Argentina in Armenia at 7 p.m. We are all in expectations, and obviously we want to show you the development of this game because whoever wins is going to go to the World Cup, and the one that loses is going to have to fight against Chile. And whoever loses between Argentina and Paraguay is going to fight for the fourth and fifth place for the Confederation of Sudamericana of Football. Yesterday we had a great success in the media and all the interactions you all had and the experts and around our official accounts on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, from which we are transmitting right now everything that is generated here from Bucaramanga, the capital of the continent on female football right now. Right now, we have great celebrities. The expectation is huge, and we owe this to our protagonists and the female football and all of you that are with us here. Let me remind you that we're transmitting right now to from our social media. This is a presence event and a virtual event as well, and you can follow it up from the different languages: Spanish, Portuguese, obviously in English. Yesterday we focused on the development of the female football in the continent in CONMEBOL from the institutional perspective and the technical part, talking to trainers. Today we're gonna work on the game. We're gonna go deep into the stories of the protagonists with the tales they have, and let me welcome you all here because today really we're gonna have an unforgettable event, historical, and we're gonna enjoy it all together here like we did yesterday. Let me propose to review the agenda for today so we can start right quick to the first of the numbers. So we have then right now history of the World Feminine Female World Cup with Aida Confin via Zoom. She's an author of a book that remembers some of the stories, not the story of the female football, but some of the stories, and proposes a book to be very interactive, very interesting that you should help to write. Why? Because they have blank pages that you can download it through the CONMEBOL webpage. There we have blank pages that this history of female football will continue to be written, and we can give a good legacy. From 10 to 20 past 10, we have the referrals of the world football, female world football. We have Bernaba Pinilla, Madame Formiga, that is going to be via Zoom, Lady Andrade with us here, Lorena Benitez and Laura Romero, all of them here with us, talking, chatting about their stories, and they'll be supported with Juan Pablo Sorinque, who has achieved the maximum of the masculine football. Football is one, it's masculine and female, and he works a lot with the development and growth of the female football as well. So Juan, is a pleasure to share a scenario with you. Afternoon, the next generation of female football is going to merge with the legends, and they're going to talk and exchange thoughts and ideas and experiences and stories with Maria Camila Reyes, with Juan Pablo Sorin, like we said, Belén Aquino, Juana Cángaro, Chuchu, like we call her, Gilia Mari Huarachin, and Mayerly Bolaños, who will be via Zoom. And then we'll have the official close up, giving up the books to the protagonists, inviting you all to download it from the web with Merly Pulpido, Montserrat Jimenez, our secretaries that are going to be here with us. Let us find the connection with Zoom, with Mayra and Aida, and we'll talk about the stories of the female football. Aida Bonfin has written a book, it's called The Histories, the stories. It's talking about the tales of the female football that she has gathered and she has lived herself, and that we all should continue writing in the blank pages. So if we can make contact with Aida Bonfin, she's in Brazil and she speaks Portuguese. So let us propose that whoever doesn't understand Portuguese, you can request your translator. We have a simultaneous translation from Spanish and English and to English. So, Aida, welcome. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure to have you here. So please tell us the stories and let us introduce you to the beauty of their book and with all the people that have and everything that we have had. So it is your microphone right now. All of this is free. Okay. Perfect. I would like to thank Comebol for the invitation, not just for the invitation, but also for the challenge to build up a book that will tell stories of all these women from South America. I would like to thank also everybody that are here with us today, our Brazilian colleagues and our colleagues that are representing us here, all of our neighbor countries. And I open up this conversation talking about a story because I think that one of my first identities in football had been with Colombia. Yes, of course. Since I was a child, one of my nicknames in the school was Valderrama because you see my hair looks very much like one of our greatest celebrities of football in our continent. I wanted to talk and present here, introduce here some of the challenges that that we had to build up the book, the first book that talks about the female story, which is something that is current, but in reality it has 30 years of stories, and it's a little bit shocking to have to wait 30 years to write this book, the story of the stories, with some absent information and missing information and all spread out in all South America. So this is a presentation that at the end, since our book, this presentation has to be fun. Very well, Aida. Well, I know we know that we have a lot of stories to talk, and we are eager to hear you out. So you could tell us a little bit what has been. Here we have the bibliography, the stories of the female America Cup. It is not just one story, but what she talks about is a bunch of anonymous stories of football players that has brought us here up to this happiness of the American Cup that we're living right now. Right. I prepared this presentation. This is the cover of the book. I hope that you all have the books in your hand, and I am eager to receive all your feedback. That specifically that all my Brazilian friends are here so that they can send that book to Brazil. Let me go to the next slide, please. And as in soccer, football, I would like to introduce the team that made this project truth. These are many people that dedicated themselves, all their love and tenderness to this book. We have worked with these people. It had been great because in Brazil we're trying to recover all these memoirs from female football players. That is a story that has been invisible for many years, but it is a story that exists, and there is a story that has a lot of characters and is far from finished. This book is just the beginning. So we have here many Brazilians in this project that I think it is this is a problem because we're going to talk about the representation of other countries as well. I hope that in many years and a few years from now we can talk about other participants. So thank you. This team that I'm presenting to you right now has many people from different areas of action that have worked along with me in the elaboration of many expositions that we have recovered about the past of female football players. So Brazilian players and researchers, like Luciana Castro, who has developed herself in this role as a reporter and critical of this area, and also as curator. Silvana Goelner, who has been one of the greatest referents of the female football in our country, and we couldn't miss out. Casimano, who is a referral here, who is a person that translates all these stories, all of this contains into a book, images and colors. Ligia Donna as well, who is a great help on the images that are inside the book, and Claudia Mena, who has been a great Colombian who helped us translate the whole book. So next. And so to produce a book is a very it's very interesting because we're building up stories of the next year so for many years from 2015 with that marked a World Cup that happened in Canada all the way. This is important as information because in 2015 this was something that it was very important, especially for those who lived of female football in Brazil, because it marked milestones in our country. I would like to tell you that that evolution is not a gift, a free gift given by football entities like many that we have seen, but is the result of a social movement, a female social movement that has been supported. This is important because all of these expositions are mainly bringing important data that made it become very popular, which is that female football was forbidden and harmed, and it was a very subtle movement that helped us elaborate and build up a more dignified future for this sport. So somehow all of that past helped us and walk through and get to the place where we are right now here in Colombia, talking to you and thinking of what the future is for the football of all whole continent in South America. In on a much of this process of building up these exposures, I brought you the challenges of building up a book that did not exist, that does not exist in any other place. There are also there is no academic research on these ones there. So the challenge of having material from the past and having this is looking up for the stories. That's the greatest challenge. What is it that we have in these championships? And the second greatest challenge is to make that story not just a story of Brazil. It's a story of the whole South America. So we need to have representation for everybody in this story that we still haven't been able to find completely. In the thirdly, in one of the most complicated of them all challenges is how to translate all of these contents to children. Thinking, like we say in Brazil, the base is strong, and if the base is strong, it's important because they will make children will make the future of female and masculine football very strong as well. And how can we make a material that is interesting and intelligent, a material that is built thinking of this kind of audience in this format? The first challenge is to find these memoirs, and I will share with you what would be the places where we could find this kind in organizing and sorting out an America Cup that started in 1991. And from the beginning, it was a lot of sport entities and and it was organized in many different places. So the greatest challenge for us is to go in there and find the place. Okay, well, I apologize. We lost the image. Let us try to recover the link with Ida. We had one of our technicians working in there, and things like this happen when you're doing live streaming. So it was very interesting what Ida was saying. Let's take advantage of this hiccup. It is interesting what she's telling us. If somebody has a question or anything, we can give it to her so that she can reply it live. We are reconnecting to Ida because the truth is that there is not much bibliography on the female football in the region, and these are one of the first books that come out. And undoubtedly, what she is trying to do is not to have just one story of female football, but to have many of the stories, like the ones we're gonna hear from other people, because we have already the protagonist here. Madame Formiga, we were waiting for you. We were expecting from you. She just came out of a plane, and she was the first. She was member of the first Congress that we had in the South American Confederation of Football, and now she's participating of this seminar. She is a legend of the female football in South America, and it's a pleasure to have her here, like many others that we're gonna have here with us. So let us wait and see if we can recover Ida via Zoom so that she can finish up her exposition. And if there is any questions that of any of you, we could make it live. I don't know if do we have any microphones that she can hear us out, or you can move it, give me the question, and I can make it to her so that we can have a connection with her. Here we are. We have her here in Ida. So you're prettier than before because your hair was shorter. Now your hair is longer now since you got cut up.
Well, hopefully everything is all right and we can move on. Anyway, I understand the difficulties of finding the memories of female football, memories of women, the memories of South America, and those spaces where we are looking for those memories. And we found different or small differences. But I want to thank all of them. Why? Because they simply exist. I want to pay homage here to Brazilian football. It's a public institution that has been working in the recovery of those memories through the digitization of collections of football players in more than five national teams that have helped to fill these moments with pictures, images, and information. But as I show in the presentation, the history of Copa America is in general lost, is scattered in many different countries, and this is the main objective. That doesn't conclude with this book, but we want to get the commitment of all the people present here to continue or to celebrate this championship for many, many years, and I'm very sure of that. Yes, we have enjoyed your presentation very much. But I still have one more slide, please. We still continue. Let's move on. Let's move on with my slides. Well, and here we have some examples of souvenirs, memories that we have found and that we have used within the book. So by paying more attention, or we obtained these objects beyond the pictures. These are objects, mementos that are kept by the players themselves, and they have a lot of questions for us. Like for instance, the medal from 1995. There are two different versions, and we don't know why there are two different versions in a single tournament. So those are examples of mementos that are important to keep and to preserve. And that's a responsibility that is allocated among the confederations, among people and the sport entities. Next slide, please. Here we have an example of an app, an application. Oh, sorry, the application of a memento. Across the book, we present these objects that were found, and we stimulate children to be able to identify the difference between a picture, a certificate, a medal, which are significant objects, so that this tournament in 100 years' time is still remembered. Next. Here I share one of the pages that I consider is the most important pages on the book. It has to do with research that we conducted very recently, known to very few people in CONMEBOL. That I have the privilege to offer this content this past for many people, particularly even for children. The great challenge is to look after the history of female football is to think that despite of the fact that the Copa America tournament has been held for 30 years, women have played football for hundreds of years. So when CONMEBOL was there, when it began in 1916, we already had women in South America playing football, and the book presents those informations that are not complete yet, but those are pieces of information that may become a stimulus so that we can find more characters, more countries about football back in that time. We have Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay on that page. Paraguay is represented on this book. And this is the representation exercise. It's a historic demand that requires a collective and joint effort from all of us. Next slide. Here, this is a great example. It's a page that I love. It's an example given to children to work with us, to learn with us, so they help us to recover these memories. In this way, we have here a timeline. Sorry, we have one of the oldest teams, female teams, which are found along the history of female football. And we have there the beginning of the Copa America tournament. Back in the day, it was called South American Championship, and all of these circles have to do with very far away moments. An indication is for the children to ask their grandparents, their moms, whether they have played football, because the history of female football has a lot of women that can fill in these blanks on this timeline, so that becomes an official history. But these are stories from amateurs, men or women, women who try to play football even though it wasn't considered professional or official football. So this is one of the pages where we show this exercise. Here I want to share with you, where do we want to come? We want to continue with these commitments, mainly with the football entities, to continue recovering these memories, organizing this material and communicating this material. There is no sense in keeping it to ourselves if we don't share it to the world. It doesn't make any sense. I hope in the near future we are able to continue making these books for adults, and that we get the capability of working in a joint manner as a team. I want to become a sister to all countries in South America and Latin America, because we have different life stories to be discovered. There are many countries that still have to recover their memories and share them with us. So I believe in a very near future we'll be able to have this huge book with much more material, remembering that this is a social commitment, and CONMEBOL has been undertaking this work in a fantastic manner, an effective manner, in a time where it makes these male teams to have a female representation. So, for a sport that has been forbidden for women for a long time, sorry, hey, excuse me, we have audio problems. Un problema ya en cabina. So this is a time that as a collective we can project a mode, even though we don't have a reflection from the male, but it's better and more coherent in the evolution that is talked thought for the future. This is a take-home message for you. This challenge that we continue to research and investing on these historic materials because these materials have been making many transformations, and I believe in this kind of work, and I'm working with a lot of people here today, and I'm very happy that in 2022 we're able to produce a material thinking about children. This is makes us to have better children, children that are aware of their own stories, history of South America, histories of women, and histories of football. Thank you very much. Well, actually, your message is very emotional for us. It's not the story of each one of the players, but we all need to contribute to write the history of female football in the region. I want to keep forward commitment, exchange, investment, and promotion. Much of this is needed, and we can all add to the commitment. We can all help to promote female football. That's the goal precisely with this seminar for Evolución is CONMEBOL. I don't know if there is any question from the audience to Aida Bonfin, taking advantage that we still have her connected so that we can wave her goodbye and we can receive our next guest. So if somebody wants to ask a question, please raise your hand so we can hand the microphone. Do we have any doubts about what the book is? You can see, you can download the book on CONMEBOL's website. You can read a lot of stories that have made female football to get this far. But we have the commitment to keep writing this history. Well, so far we don't have any questions from this. Oh, we have one on the front. Let's see if we can have the microphone. We have a question here. A Colombian colleague asks whether we can get the book in a hard copy. Where can we can get it down here, right here on the lobby, just at the end of the seminar, and more issues will be published. Ida will have more issues. Ida Bonfin will publish more issues of the book. So we are well. CONMEBOL will publish more volumes, and those who are present here today, we can get the hard copy. Aida Bonfim, we thank you very much for your participation. This has been a wonderful, rich presentation. Thank you. I told you a while ago that after this first presentation by Aida and with the book from Histories of Female Football, we are going to start hearing the stories told in the first person by our protagonists, players that are part of the glories of female football in the continent. And when they decided to become players, football players, there were stories that were even prosecuted for being female football players. Back in the day, there were no conditions, there was no payment, there were no institutions on the domestic or in the regional level, in this case as CONMEBOL, to organize competitions. They, for the love of the game, for the love of the competition, they just dived into becoming football players and they made us enjoy this Copa America. So I want thanks to them, we are enjoying this promising moment in female football in the South American region. So now we call our distinguished guests. We will call them one by one. One is on the virtual platform by Zoom, but we want to receive one of our heroes, one of our glories, Fernanda Pinilla from Universidad de Chile, who is with us this morning. Fernanda, please give a round of applause for Fernanda Pinilla. She will be talking to us today. Please, Fernanda, come to the stage. Good morning. It's a pleasure for us. So, on the left, good morning, Fernanda. It's an honor for us that you're here. We'll be hearing for you all morning. You will not come off until we finish with this seminar. So, we'll give you a glass of water and you will talk for a while. We have then Formiga from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Yeah, she has a lot of fans in the room. Formiga, welcome again. She just came down from the plane. Just came down from the plane, got off the plane in Bucaramanga. The good thing is you are here. Good things are made to be waited for. Another protagonist, Natalia Gaitan, she plays in Tigres of Monterrey in Mexico. She is connected on Zoom. Let's give it for Natalia. We welcome her virtually and we'll be hearing from her. We have Lady Andrade from Tauro Football Club here in Colombia. Lady, welcome to this event. Let's give it for Lady. It's a pleasure to have you here today also. Now we have Natalia Gaitan on the screen from Monterrey. Good morning, Natalia. Now, good morning, and thank you for being with us today. Lorena Benitez from Club Atlético Estudiantes from Argentina. Lorena, please take the stage. How are you, Lorena? Good morning. It's a pleasure for us that you are here. And Laura Romero from Olympia in Paraguay. Well, we have Paraguayan and Argentinian football are having a decisive stage today, looking for a ticket to the World Cup directly. Well, thank you for being with us today. I'm also inviting Juan Pablo Sorin, who will be the host in this conversation. It's a conversation of football players, female players, and here we have um, tirelessness worker for the growing of female football. Juan Pablo, welcome. He supports a lot female football in South America. Juanpa, how are you? Is the mic on? Thank you. Good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure for us, for me to be here today.
Whenever you want, we can start. But to me, it's a huge honor to be with all you girls and with Nati there. All of them battle worker, battle friends, and with many titles and many happiness for all South America. Welcome everybody here present. Let us go. Let's just start that. Go ahead. It's a conversation in between people. So we are gonna talk a little bit with like we were saying here thank you to the importance of it in the day-to-day in the construction and all the trainers and all the communicators and everybody that has worked so that the female football can continue growing. And I have to chat. I have to talk in hierarchy. So I need to respect the titles. So I need to respect that in this whoever has won. Nobody has won so many titles as Formiga, so this is a very sensational, and we're gonna start doing it more formal with Formiga. Yeah. How do you say everything? Everything. How do you see the final? Everybody's anxious. We have here the great champion Brazil and Colombia. 7 times Brazil has been 7 times champion Brazil. Argentina only won once. Good morning, everybody. Of course, this is something that happens because we are playing with our host, the owner of the house. So that makes us nervous. But whoever is gonna in the stadium, there's gonna be great football, and let the best win. And we are still witnessing the evolution of football, and this is going to continue on growing. We hope that the Brazilian selection can go to the front. Thank you, Formiga. So. This is an amazing experience. You are right next to your friend from Atlanta, Rajas. How do you see the final, Nati, that you won the Panamericanos? Regretfully, you beat us, Argentinians. So how do you feel with this America Cup and this euphoria that this country is having? Well, uh, uh, okay. And this can be an amazing final with a great level. This is something that is going to bring up a lot of people together. And for sure, I know for sure that in the stadium as well as the whole country is going to be supporting the league. And I think this is a great moment for female football. It's a great moment for all of us that are living this experience. And we need to take advantage and we need to look into all the things that are happening and what we are doing for the future. Thank you, Nati. We are playing in a few hours another game that they should sit. They shouldn't be sitting together. We're gonna have a game, Argentina versus Paraguay. We have two of the participants here, and whoever makes fourth will have the possibility of going to the World Cup through points. So Lawrence, it's too bad that we didn't have never played together, but someday we will. And Laura, how do you see this game, which is also a final this afternoon, because it will leave you into the World Cup or with the uncertainty? Okay, good morning, everybody. I think that yeah, today there is a complicated game for both of us. I think that today we have to play for the illusion, for the desire of being in the World Cup. We want to continue being part of the history. Paraguay is a very strong team, and I think it's going to be complicated from both sides. And let us hope that whatever God desires and what is good for both of us, because one of us is going to classify directly, and the other one is going to have to be decided with someone else. Let us hope that we all South Americans can make it. Laura, we are anxious to see you in the field. We're going to see you in a few hours in the field. So. Goalie and unique technician, technical in the field. Yeah, thank you very much. Is if God willing, we're gonna be with our teams doing what we love the most, which is play soccer, play football. Today, for us, the Paraguayans, it is a huge opportunity because we will be the first time that we can be here that we could classify to a World Cup. We had done it before in the 2017 and 2020, but a few years back, the Paraguayan Football Association is betting to the female football in Paraguay, and we're being professionalized, and we can see it now in the games we're playing now because we can tell that we have evolved. Today, we have this opportunity to have the World Cup, and if not, we will decide it by points. This is going to be a really hard game because the Argentinian football is very, very strong, and it is going to be a very, very beautiful game. Like what Lori say, let us hope that both of us can classify to the World Cup. Will be through the third place or in through the points. Okay, we're gonna look into the videos of some goals so that people that has never seen you playing, we can see it because of the low visibility of the female football. But we need to talk about Chile, obviously, because Chile just beat Venezuela in another final. There's a great work with Pamela Conti and her team, not only in adults but also in the juveniles. They should be in the World Cup, and I hope they are that. And I hope that Venezuela continues growing. So Chile is having that place, and we more than talking about the game, we're gonna talk about we want to talk about when you were in the World Cups and when you were in sub 17, and also in 2019 as an adult. What means for you all of these achievements you have made as a football player and as a syndicate in Chile? Good morning, everybody that is here. I want to thank you for this invitation. Yeah, it is very beautiful to have this opportunity to. Microphone? Fernanda. Okay. Yeah. If not, I give her mine. Yeah. No. No problem. So, like I said, there's a second opportunity, very beautiful, to classify to a next World Cup as an adult. And obviously, well, from my experience, that even though in Chile we had fought for this professionalization of the female football, I was in 2010 in a sub 17 World Cup, and that was a great drive for us for the lower categories. And we woke up a little bit at that time that we wanted to become professionals because we came from a different reality where this would have been a fantasy. And now things were staggered a little bit in our country, regretfully. And in 2016, we got out of the FIFA ranking because we didn't compete for 2 years. And like you said before, we had some friends from football. We decided to set up an association which is called the CUF, the Female Football Players Association, looking at the problems that we have at the football at the moment, and to drive it through. And we have been able to get a lot of things. We have walked through a path that is very hard, but we have gotten a lot of achievements. This year, for instance, we were able to have a law that professionalizes the football players in Chile. In 3 or 4 years, girls 16 and 17 years old can dream of being professional football players. Yeah, you started thinking of playing football when on top of that you were working, but at 23, 24 years old, you were still thinking of football. But this is the great difference of today, from today, yeah? Yeah, totally. In the America Cup in 2018, what happened in our country, we were able to find a place in our first classification as adults, and for me, right there in my personal experience, we started this dream of being professional players when I was 22, 23, because we started opening new doors and the World Cup was more competitive and we have more visibility inclusively, but we still didn't have contracts in our country for professional players. And this is where we have all this desire of becoming professional. And I think that the greatest legacy that we have in this country, and perhaps for many countries of this region, is that now the girls that are going to be playing can start thinking about becoming professional football players, and they have the tools that perhaps we didn't have when we were at the early age, but they are going to have it, so they're going to be developing the right way. And this is so important that what Comebol is doing in these development lines. We're going to talk about reference of the new generations, and we're going to see something that is very beautiful, which inclusively us as players never had the opportunity perhaps to ask questions to those legend players that were in their own teams that had to struggle through so many situations that we don't have anymore. So if you want to know more about Fernanda Pinilla, here is a book that she just gave it to me. Find it. It's called Disobedient, and it talks about the struggle they have. You have it, Grace? Please take the picture. So moving on to Lady, you have played everywhere. You play around the world. You went through a lot of situations, and I wanted to know today, with your vision and your experience, what do you understand needs to be improved? Because we cannot hide the problems. We're talking about football here, and we need to bring this forward so that everybody can see, and we try to improve and build up the female football. Good morning, everybody. The microphone, please. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. First of all, I think that the greatest differences, though, from other countries is that other countries plan and structure their ways, and the planning are printed also. No, it's not just thoughts or words, but they make it a reality. I have played with the United States League, which I think is the best structured, I think, and all the benefits that they give to their players is the same as males because they themselves have led the way and they have fought for their rights, and little by little they have been able to achieve it. This is something that we have done here in Colombia as well. From the very beginning, like in 29 that we started playing, we had our own objectives clear, and every time we won something, we wanted it more and more, but always keeping the dream of having our own league and become professionals. I think that with Nati, we always dreamed of when we went to the Sub 20 World Cup. I think that for all of us, it was something incredible that we will never forget. It was a very friendly, very tight team. We went to some semifinals. We were fourth in the world. So we opened up that path. And from there, they started calling us the superpower girls. And they gave us a lot of things little by little. But every time we got something, it was taken away from us. So this is it. We need to structure a plan, a very good plan that has to be on writing. That we should start on a point and move forward and never back out. That's something that the girls now at least have better scenarios where with better tools, and I think that's very important because we didn't have enough spaces, opportunities to train. We have better locations and better conditions, and the brands that have merged with us are very, very important because I think that these are a very important part to the evolution of sports. What Nike is doing, I think, is admirable to support the players from the beginning to the end. They are with us all the time. They have given us visibility, and all the events they do help a lot because we have an opportunity to go into football more and more every day. So these kind of things are very good. One other thing will be in the schools and the football schools to break all those barriers in the academies where say that the girls cannot practice football because they have their girls and wear skirts. That would be important to start driving the idea that all of us can play football. This is not of little girls and little boys that is for everybody. It is clear, and it has a lot to do with the academies they have in the United States, how they incorporate the little girls when they're since very early. And we come to you that your reference to little girls as well, and you are also trainers, and you are in the day-to-day technique. So I want to go through this, and if we talk about the beginning, and we talk about who helped us and who gave us the first push, that energy. I would think that I wanted you to tell us your sponsor, Gioma, and you would explain to us because Gioma was inclusively in jail, if I'm not mistaken, because football was forbidden. Like the author say, it was worth it. It was worth it. Gioma was a very important person in my life. I have to say, 12 years she was always with me in my house, dragging me out of my house when I was living with my mother, and I started playing with boys, and I didn't know there were other girls around my area in Salvador that where we could play. So my mother allowed me to play with that age because I didn't know anybody back then, and I started moving out of the house looking for my dream with Gioma. Gioma was a woman that is still a dreamer today. She was a player back then, and she went through all that problem of being detained and on the running because it was forbidden to play football at that time. And she had that dream to be able to be acknowledged in Brazil. It wasn't the only effort that she made, but. Many people through me and through other girls that were playing, we were able to achieve what we needed. We went through many difficulties at that time, I have to say. We didn't have any help for female football at the time, so when she was working, Gina, she had to extract a little bit of time to be able to help us, and the athletes were trying to follow up her path, trying to help her, knocking on doors, door by door, in the clubs, in every part, every opportunity, because at that moment we were playing indoor football. But Gioma was able to get at that time in the year 93 to 97 an association with Saje in Sao Paulo in the stadium, and she was able to take 7 girls. I was part of that team to make some testings in the stadium, and I signed out with Sao Paulo at that time, and I was very, very happy because all of those girls had the opportunity to play out, and we had a different treatment, and we had a different training center, not just the topic of having a visibility in football, but also to have follow up and good trainers, because at that time they didn't have a base. The female football was not, non-existent. It was forbidden. It was a male concept to it. So we started evolving without having any basis of initiation. And at that moment, we're still struggling. Regretfully, when I come from for female football, that's not still not being acknowledged, and there's not an attitude that the Bahia Federation is not really helping the female players, and they still have a very important role. And we rescue a lot of girls from bad neighborhoods, and they have a lot of dreams, and they need continue feeding up these dreams and all of these warrior girls. So when I talk about them, I get thrilled, because that's what happened in my life. That's what gave me the opportunity to build up my own story. I know for certain we're gonna continue fighting and struggling until we give opportunity to so many girls that we have in Brazil. Today, Gina is a trainer in football, so she is fighting for us again, and she's looking for support for all the modality of that. Regretfully, is not seen with good eyes in Brazil. I hope that she lives for so many years so that she can give more opportunities like she gave to me, to many other girls, because we still need help. Just like everybody else here, that reality and that difficulty of the female football. Unfortunately, we're not in the same level of the United States or Europe, but I believe that if we get together, we're going to get to the level that we need there. So, Gioma, tell her and the microphones that we're going to give her a hand, and we're going to acknowledge her effort and the great effort she made. He was one of the greatest Brazilian players which Brazil is a champion in football and is still having a lot of struggles for female football. The same as in Colombia, Nati, right? There's a lot of difficulty, and around the world where you go, this is something that you came up with an idea of rebels and dreamers, and you created a movement, right? Please tell the people here was this movement Somos, and how you can help with the inclusion of the needs that we have, the people that need the most, and how can football include the society and the tools.
Yes, it's a group of players. We were a group that we were together to generate more and better opportunities, especially for childhood in Latin America and in Colombia, to find tools in which we want to have this point of change for women, using football as a tool to generate trust in themselves, to so that girls can have the opportunity of having dreams and not limiting themselves just because of the fact of being women, but that on the other hand they have the courage to say, I see myself being an astronaut or a football player or whatever they want to be. So it's an organization that has been for a short time of life, so to say, but we have generated a very beautiful project that we have implemented in Latin America, where we help foundations to have that trust for gender programs in their programs or in their organizations or in any activities that they do on the day-to-day basis. The idea is to create spaces where girls feel safe and with a peace of mind to develop their sport talent, and also on the personal level. And we also want to train leaders to lead, so to say, or to be in command of these projects. So it has been a very beautiful experience, an absolute new experience for us. It's out of what we are used to have, it's out of the playing pitches, but we are doing this through the power a ball has. When you come to a place with a ball in your hand and there are girls playing, you know that the ball will be an element to unite children, and it will create an area where children will feel they can develop themselves, and they have these spaces and ideas to take them to whatever they want to be. So this has been a spectacular experience for me, and I hope I can continue being a part of it and develop what we want to be in the future. Let's give it for Natalia for the Somos movement and for the commitment beyond being a professional player. Now she is playing in a league overseas. She used to play for Sevilla in Spain and also continue to be linked to more sensitive items in our society. One of the more sensitive items in our society is girls. Many of you didn't have any benchmark as players because there weren't any games on Globo TV or on Direct TV, matches on public TV, and on which we also thank to the TV broadcasters. This is the only way to make the players known. It's important to know who plays in your team, who is number 4, who is number 5, who is the captain of my team. And if they don't play the games on TV, it's impossible for that to occur. So also for you as broadcasters, as journalists, that when you see a player, you talk about her, describe her. And we talk about sensitivity in girls. Those who see you as role models, Lorena, you are a role model that you have to do with the techniques, with the passings, how you kick the ball. And the same we have Lorena Paredes and Gloria Benitez when we start moving the ball, when we see it every day in the Argentinian football. I wanted to know what is your relationship as a role model for girls? What do they tell you when they dream about becoming a lore or a professional player in Argentina? Yes, as you say, Juan Pablo, thanks to the TV broadcasting of the games in Argentina, many girls are able to see the matches on TV, and as you say, they have uh, they have us as role models, and they come very shyly sometimes to ask for an autograph. But just by seeing you on TV, they think we come from another planet. But in my experience, when they come to me and talk, they come and ask for a photo in a very shy manner. First, we want to instill them that obviously nothing is impossible. And as you said, from since we were very young, we always had a dream, but perhaps we didn't have a benchmark. We didn't see players on TV, but we had the dreams of becoming professionals, just like the girls now. And we, step by step, we managed to feel our dreams. And to me, becoming a role model is a high pressure at my short age. Is for me to be seen as a role model. It's a pressure because these girls follow me. But obviously, that's an incentive to keep doing things right and to prove with effort, with our trainings, with sacrifice, you can achieve anything. And before we give the mic to Laura, I want to is not to be make romanticize the situations, but to avoid repeating them. What was your routine like of having to work and then going to your training? What time did you get up? What time did you go to the market, and how did you work to become a professional player? Well, before going to the traveling to the World Cup in 2019, when I had to go with the national team, I used to work at the Central Market in Buenos Aires, one of the largest fruit and vegetables markets in Argentina. I worked from midnight until 2 p.m. and then I left to my club to train in Boca Juniors. I used to train from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and all my days went like that during that process before the World Cup. Obviously, that was totally unhealthy for us, for a sport, for a player. I didn't eat well, I didn't rest well, and I believe that's extremely important for a sports person. Even before the World Cup, not only myself, but also other of my mates had to resign their jobs so they could go out and play the World Cup. That's a large competition, and perhaps we didn't leave it before, and I didn't know where we were. We had to be there. From that moment, I used to work every day, Monday to Friday, eating badly, sleeping badly, and we would see a competition that we didn't know. We required something more professional, a good training, good meals, and from then on, as Fernanda mentioned before, having lived that experience from a completely different world, that forces you to improve. Perhaps the Argentinian football is growing a bit more, and I can say that with my salary, I can help my family, I can leave my other job beside, and I can concentrate on the training and reaching this level that is seen globally. So I believe that little by little we will be getting to that. And it's good for those girls that come after us, that come behind us, don't have to live the same situations we used to live. That effort can make you sick, or even if you don't have the resources that we require in order to become professional sportsmen. We are almost on the brink of tears here in your story, and this is a very emotional uh, and the passion of football, which is our dream, and it's something that we have cared for. Well, we have the goal. Do we have the movie from Laura Romero, which was chosen the best goal in the World Cup? Let's hope we have the video here. The best goal in the world in 2017, right? Perhaps we have this with just a second. We'll be right back with Natalia on the screen, and let's play the goal. Famimar is working. We are uploading the video because I didn't want to leave this topic of girls. You don't only play, but you also coach girls. Perhaps you were in a club that didn't have a name and you have to give it a name, and we have a family history there. How does it feel on your day to day work with the very little girls and making up a club in order to have a place to work? There are so many things to talk about it. I believe we are all identified with each other, and there are many things to talk about. Um, the way we work, the way we make efforts, and as Fernanda said, when at the age of 20 we began. Before we couldn't start playing since very little. Nowadays, thanks to the development league in Colmebol, female football is played in a huge tournament, a beautiful tournament where girls can enjoy and feel themselves as professional. They can focus, they play on the best fields, they have five-star hotels to have their concentration. Before, we had to dream about it, and we couldn't even imagine how are we going to make that by making efforts. Every second I train, one day I will live from this. And now, as Lorena says, that she is able to help her family now. I used to say, yes, someday I'm sure women will be able to do that. That football is visible, that people see that we can play in the best way possible. And that was a day-to-day fight. And nowadays, when I managed to become to the top, I used to see those girls who ask me, "Where can I play, Laura? Laura, can I take a picture with you?" I cannot just give you a picture, I have to do something for them, I said. And then I started by having a female football academy with the help of a former football player by Vladimiro Marin, who is Colombian. He used to play in Olympia in Paraguay. And before I forget, I need to. I play for South America Club because that was forgotten in the introduction. I used to play in Olympia. I was. This is my farewell. I used to play from Olympia, and then Vladimir Marin told me, "Hey, why don't we have an academy for girls?" And I said, "Yes, of course." He was studying to become a coach. He was already a coach, and he started to make this academy. So Vladimir went from Olympia to Sportivo Luqueño. Luque is my hometown. Deportivo Luqueño is my family's club, and it was nearby. We were nearby, and we had the academy, Deportivo Luqueño Academy, and girls began coming, and we have girls from age 12, 13, 14. We had 100 girls and we went into the CONMEBOL development tournament, and then Sportivo Luqueño says, I don't want to have female football. This is over. They closed the doors on us, and then we were like, what are we doing? Vladimir Marin went back. He came back to Colombia and then to another country. I was left on my own in charge of the girls, and I said, what am I going to do with 100 girls who have a dream and don't have a club? And I'm on my own. What can I do? Then I went to my uncle, Julio Cesar Romero, Romerito, a former professional player who played in Fluminense in Brazil. And I also went to my father, who was a player as well. Dad, can you tell Uncle Julio Cesar to give the Fluminense a franchise? Because no one in Paraguay wants to give us a name. Nobody wants to support us because there is no gain. And Fluminense Brazil says, yes, let's sign an agreement and we'll go. So Fluminense came to us. We signed a contract that we become an official franchise from Fluminense Brazil in Paraguay. First, we had female football, and then we started to compete with the girls. Nowadays, we have other coaches, Coach Jose Miguel, Profe Ramirez. We have male football as well. Boys tell me now, Profe, I want to be like you. We have boys U15, U17, U19. So it's something huge that we did as women. They saw all of our work, and we did well on the development tournament in CONMEBOL, and now we're starting working with boys as well. So I'm very grateful for this because thanks to CONMEBOL, boys and girls can also fulfill their dreams.
So I'll give a hand to the greatest champion here, and now she's a professor on all the sciences of all these development leagues I was talking about. And these congresses, we have a lot of ideas, like what is going to happen with with the teams that are not classified with Panamericanos, not Olympic Games or World Cups, and they thinking that there are ideas, but I cannot give a spoiler, but. There's always that wheel spinning in our brains and with people that are here that put their heads together to create new ideas. Sometimes we are right, sometimes we are wrong, but we continue on doing. So, lady, Laura was talking about the projects in the long term. So in Europe, for sure, you see these projects. In the United States, you see these projects, and in South America, it's difficult for us from the two perspectives. From the club that if it doesn't win a title, is he's forgotten, and the investment is not worth it, and that's wrong. And the opposite, that when you bet and you get the title, they say, okay, that's the end. We're not investing anymore. You see, and this, thank you to all the brands that help us and give money and invest capital and believe in something that inclusively doesn't have the visibility that they need. How do you see those processes in Europe? What is the difference from Europe, from what we are seeing here in the Colombian football, like you said before? You were saying before. Of the planning. If you want to elaborate a little bit on that. Well, the big difference is that they plan in the long term and they make investments. So they project themselves for a semester, we're going to make this much, and that semester they continue working on the next semester. So they have the first year covered and they make meetings all the time, but they involve the players as well. That what can you improve? What have you felt on? This is important because it's not only just in the offices inside, but it's also they involve the people in the field, in the soccer field, to see what is are we missing in there. And also they take the task of knocking on doors and that they fall in love with their football. In Italy, for instance, they have a project with the brands that they learn from the personal lives of each of the female players, and this impacting on them as well. And that is how it's so important that they invest on it. That is more like showing a planning that is structured, that the brands see that they're gonna get benefits from this, so that they can invest in day to day. They can get improvements more and more. So it's like in a month. Over there in Europe, they just plan in a month. So we sit back together, all of the captains of each of the teams with the directives and the sponsors, and they all contribute and see how we can work in pro of the female football. In Italy, they have progressed a lot because that has been officialized and they are becoming professional this year. So I say that. Well, okay, Laura, you want to participate? We're gonna see the goal from Laura Romero. So please play the video. The best goal of the world in 2017. This is improvisation. We're just doing it here on the air. There is
Con
her
Viri
goal.
Samberri, sobre la derecha sube Florentini, y va Florentini en ataque, River buscando el primero en la parte final de este primer tiempo, Florentini la conexión con Lescano, y va Lescano y Romero piden área, Lescano y el centro saltó Romero, lo pegar de chilena al arco, ¡golazo! Gol de River Plate, qué golazo
River Plate.
realmente, golazo de nuestra
I gotta
compatriota
tell
Romero,
you that
espectacular la
that
definición,
goal
el centro desde la
changed
zona
everything
derecha
because
de chilena
it made them
Romero,
visible.
la pelota fue cayendo,
Yeah, yeah.
cierto
Look, the
suspenso en el
replay.
estadio y aparece Romero y el primero sobre 38 de
I
este
love
primer
the
tiempo,
silence. I love the
golazo de
silence.
Romero,
What a goal.
River Plate
You see,
1,
from
Unión
this goal,
Española de Ecuador
because I was
0.
playing in
El
Argentina
partido
as
aquí en la
well,
visera,
that I had
pero es
to,
un gol
like, in that
monumental
moment,
por
in my
parte de Laura
country, we
Romero.
were
Cómo
in
se suspende en el
professional,
aire
and I had to find
sin
myself where
mirar,
to go
como teniendo
and meet my goals. Since we didn't have videos and they were not televised, how can I pass on a club and show this? And it was impossible. You had to go and travel place to place, city to city, and show in the field what you could do. It's not like the male football that they have many videos from where they get hired. So I tried out in Brazil, but I couldn't speak Portuguese at that time. And the closest thing to Argentina from Paraguay was Argentina, and I tried out each club every day. I tested out with all the clubs in Argentina, and some of them I passed on, and I was able to choose, and I don't know why my heart led me to River Plate, and I guess it was destiny that brought me in, and I played in Argentina, and this was on a Libertadores Cup, and it was like the first time in the world and in life that it was televised for female players, and I had this goal, and they called me from some worldwide ranking in the United States, and they called me, and there was it was the best goal in the world, and then from then on I have representatives of clubs and sponsors. Everybody wanted it. Everybody were with me. So how do you get up from that soccer field after all the 11 players were on top of you? There was one that used to say to the others, "Stop! You're crushing her. You're crushing her." So you have to do something great in the female football for them to call you, and but no, it's not like that anymore now. No, it's not like that anymore because of these efforts that we're making right now. Yeah, that we're more visible now, all the leagues from all over the world. In my house, I'm always looking at all the female football players, and the Ecuadorians, the Venezuelans, the Lima, even though they didn't classify. And I'm remembering things because I see it. Mr. Pellegrino, I think he was here yesterday in the scenario, but I put Lini Pellegrino here because the manager is the manager, yes. But the technical person is the technical person. Everybody is meeting a role that everything works. But what is missing in the federations many times is that the players, the female players, the ex-players, should be inside the federation so they support, so that the players that are still playing will have a a referral voice, somebody that will support them. So Alina here, Peregrino, is making that role in Brazil, and so that they shouldn't see the players shouldn't see an enemy on their ex-players, but on the contrary, is she's helping and giving them sensibility see and seeing things that the managers cannot see until that point. Like the case of Neri, that he's gonna be here with us. Yeah, yeah. We have another goal. We have another goal. We should see it, and then after that, I wanna ask something to you all about winning in projects. Fernando Pinilla from Chile as well. Okay, okay. All right. So it's a little skimpy whenever we are okay. Let me know. It's all 4K now in high resolution. Okay, there is. Oh, they pass on the summary. So there is. It's a penalty. Yeah, that was a Libertadores Copa 2020 2021 in the Deportivo Morón Stadium in Argentina. I live like 10 blocks away from this stadium. That's close to the airport, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, this is a summary of the goals. Let's see if I can see Fernandez's goal. There she is coming along. Yeah, we need a third goal. Okay, well, in the meantime, if you know, tell me what does a project like this means that gives a minimum deadline and the importance of supporting it and keeping it up alive with the years. In the importance because what we have in Chile, they have like the opening for 5,000, 10,000 people, and you generated that they open it up with more public, and how will generate that? Tell us while we look into these things. Well, this game was very significant for us, this classification, because it was the first classification we had in the U team, the team that I identify from which I am a huge fan, and we were looking for it. I had the possibility in 2016 to become the champion in the national championship, but we were not able to get to the Libertadores Cup. So it was a dream that we had to wait for 5 years in 2020 until 2020 to be in the cup, and we were fourth of that first participation. So but it wasn't by luck. It wasn't. It was something that, like you said, an investment behind from the club and the managers, and to hire up players. Not 100% of the personnel, but a big number of the personnel was concentrated into football only. Girls that we came from they were in high school and they contribute to the team with the different techniques because they were born with the soccer with the football ball in their feet, and they are very competitive. We know that it's a common sense to train 5 days out of the week, but back in those days it was impossible. But we had to work 5 days during the week and participate every month. It was a result that we had, and then we invested in a year. In a year, we had this goal of setting up a competitive team, and we classified in a cup, and we were champions in 2021 with a stadium full. And in first instance, there was a little bit of resistance to open up the whole stadium. We only have 5,000 tickets, and we sold them in one afternoon. And we ourselves started asking, making some sort of a political campaign and social media. We're going to open up more tickets, and we push up the federation so that they will give us more tickets, and they open up the whole stadium, and we had 17 to 20,000 people in that final, and we were able to get another classification for this year to the cup, and we these are improvements and achievements that we get little by little, like I say, from management and to bet on it. And sometimes they bet on it and nothing happens. That can happen. It's possible. And then they take away their sponsorship. But luckily for us, it happened to us, and we have continued on growing. And we now, and it comes from the work that we had done ourselves. So we have had so many stories, and I don't like to romanticize so many things, but we need to acknowledge it for sure that we continue playing in football regardless of all the difficulties we have had. So many times I wanted to quit I couldn't because it was an impossible path, but I'm very happy that I persevered and like many of us that are here and many of those that are struggling and trying to classify into a World Cup. But during that path, throughout that path, you need to know that sometimes you go home at the end of the day and it hurts. Your heart hurts because you go through so many things. So that commitment that you get in my particular case with my club and the clubs that I have worked on is very important for the development and the brands as well. The private companies that give us a sponsorship is so important so that the female players can project themselves into the football. They start thinking of the questions of for these great masters we have here in the scenario and for Nati in Mexico who is also a master. Yeah, we're gonna add her up to the new generations that are gonna have also questions for the players. For me, something that I kept on asking that it caught my eye is I always said I would like to have a friend inside of a field that how do you do to have so many to run so fast and how do you want to give so much into your heart? Where do you get that from? And that's the first question. And the other things on the titles, not only on the Copa America, Comebol, but all of those dreams that you still have like being in the Olympics and be second on the World Cup. So how do you do to run so much, and how do you get that strength to continue on? Yeah, and how is your experience? Yeah, the experience, but yeah, if she can do it at her age, that means that we can do it. It's just a total inspiration for us. Well, first of all, a love for the sport. Something that we need to do, and we still have dreams. And one of those dreams is to help many girls, and for that we need to keep ourselves standing. That's when you go to my age. I'm 44 years old, so when you lose the pleasure of getting up and train the best way to avoid that sometimes is to just stop. But the physical dedication, I had always loved this physical training, and I keep on doing it every day. So I don't do what I do what is right, and I think that that allows me to be on a higher level, and being persistent. I know that I'm not done yet. When I started playing football, unfortunately, I didn't have anybody to inspire me from. That we didn't have that at my time. But in the current position, I started playing as a forward the player, and then as a side player and side field player, and it was like all this strength that I took on myself, and I saw many players and acting and all that. So did you all hear? There here is the acknowledgement that we didn't have a reference on the female football because at that time there was not visible. The other thing that has to do with this, we're in this close to a final, close to the third and fourth place.
And we all dream about being champions, but this goes beyond. You went second, having a silver medal for your national team, and the same in a World Cup. What did it mean for your career to have that achievement, even beyond America? That a CONMEBOL, a national team from South America, is fighting for an Olympic medal. Well, I believe that in South America represents a lot. And a person going through a process that I lived, having a lot of criticism from many people believed I wouldn't make it. And of course, the doubts in our own country to say that female football perhaps would never win a medal. Of course, on the federation, uh, and people will not let me lie, how many difficulties we had for the preparation to win that medal, and oftentimes the decisions were only from the sport women to look for a union and trying to change the history. And to me, I'm actually honored to be able to win a medal in those tournaments where Brazil, after knowing that Brazil had some worth, but for us, it has a lot of worth, and I'm very honored to be a part of it. Something that for all generations to know that there is a positive place in our country for female football, because we know how much we struggled, and to get this acknowledgement, this worth. I very much like to say that acknowledgement for me is not only an issue of hunger, but to have the certainty to see it is something for the coming generations. We struggle a lot to have these foundation categories and to earn that respect. And to me, seeing that everything I did was worth it, and I would do it again if I had to, precisely to give the girls the opportunity of not living those difficulties that I had or that we had as pioneers. Today, girls have the opportunity to dream big and to win and to conquer. We know it wasn't easy back in the day, and we have a great history to tell. So we already know that we have planted a little seed, and that seed will give a fruit tomorrow. Yes, it's important to dream and fight for your dreams. Perhaps we can give a second to the audience just before the new generation coming in a rush, and and it is the way it needs to be. But if anyone in the audience has a question to the cracks we have here, microphones are distributed along the room. There is a question back in the room, please. And that was a good sprint from our assistant to hand the microphone. Yeah, that was a sprint for a right winger. Name, association, name, school, and where are you from? Hello, my name is Ita Maria. I come from Volcanicas magazine. I want to ask you everything we have heard today and yesterday as well. It's extremely important and inspiring and necessary. However, is there any dissonance at a certain moment between what we understand as all to have an inclusive language in female language and what happens in Colombia's league during this second semester? I would like to know the opinion, especially from Colombian players and from all people in the panel, about how can a league be sustained, a female football league sustained in Colombia? How can we do it if we cannot have a tournament in the second semester? Thank you. Let's start with Nati and then Lady. Let's not forget that Colombia also qualified for the U20 and U17 World Cup, and I believe that's a historic fact for them. So your answer, we only give you easy questions for you, Nati. Go ahead. Well, I have always said it, and as Lady said, I'm not used to calling her Lady. Um, it's a matter of a project. It's a matter of infrastructure. It's true that for the second semester there will be no league in Colombia, and there is a lot of controversy. But on the other hand, we have a Libertadores Cup in September, October, if I'm not mistaken. In October, Juan Pablo says. Actually, a league, just having a league for the sake of having it, I don't think it's also a good idea. Like a forced thing for a month and a half, I thought that was the proposal. But I think that if in this second semester we will not have it, they should start working from now from now on to the 2023 league, which, as I understand, will take the whole year. But to do that, it is necessary to have a project and a schedule to say, okay, we'll start in February and we go till September, something like that. And so they start planning ahead, considering that we will also have the World Cup. But what we have done in Colombia has always been reactive. They come and we don't know whether there will be a league or how many teams will participate. But since we know that this second semester we will not have a league, let's start working on preparing the one for 2023 and to start having a long-term project from here to 5 years to know where do we want to go with this league, what will be the goal, how many teams do we want to have, and that's where, in my opinion, there is a lot missing in Colombia to have a project that encompasses everyone in the female football, because it also involves television, sponsors, the clubs, the private entities, obviously the players, the great protagonists of this. We are not just like machines that you switch on and off. And tomorrow we start a league, we turn on the machine and we start, and then Monday is off and we switch them off. So it requires preparation time, adaptation to be in optimal conditions and to provide a very good show. So there are many stakeholders involved that require a preparation to have a stable league and a long-term project that can be sold to the sponsors. Ultimately, female football is a product that for me, they haven't seen the potential or they haven't believed in the potential. So we need to find the best way to sell it so that the sponsors are interested. And those sponsors who are already there usually pull back because of the lack of organization. So this is a very complex issue, but I firmly believe that lack of a structure and lack of a long-term project has not enabled to have a leak, and that we don't have a certainty. We know that it will not occur in this second semester, but we should start working on preparing for 2023 to see where do we want to be, and so that we don't get to January and then we have again the same uncertainty. The idea is to have from here by the end of the year to have a project that allows us to dream and keep on strengthening. And as you said, we have the U70 and U20 national teams qualified to the World Cup. So all women and girl players will be looking after our national teams and they want to follow those examples. But if we don't have the spaces to do it, it's very important to create them and to guide them so that they have these instances where they can feel uh, that they are valued, that they are given all possibilities that they should have. Thank you very much. I don't want to extend myself over time. Lady, do you want to add some? No, she said everything. Yeah, and she has said it very well. If you don't have perspectives for the future, with all the support that the Colombian football will get on the domestic level, as beginning in this campaign, in this triple qualifying, U17, U20, Senior World Cup, plus the Olympic Games, this opens a huge perspective and a greater expectation for the future of Colombian female football. The future is also in the development leagues, right, Juan Pablo? Now it's up to you. The development league supported by CONMEBOL opens also a wide panorama that fills us with illusion in view of the future, not so far future. Even more, in here in Copa America, many young girls who have come through the development leagues. Just recently, they were just little girls, but now they are competing in this Copa America, this historic Copa America. There will be a before and an after with attendance records, record of TV channels broadcasting this Copa America to the world. In this video, we want to showcase the development league supported and propelled by CONMEBOL, which open the pathway for the near future.
ustedes muy, pero muy buenos días. Aquí otra jornada más de la fiesta evolución de la Conmebol, edición 2022.
Una experiencia única, emocionante a nivel de integración. Consideramos que la formación de ellos y los valores son lo que le va a quedar deportivamente y personalmente. Todos los chicos conviven día a día y disfrutan juntos, y la integración cultural es enorme y se van a ir con un montón de experiencias y se van a empezar a seguir deportivamente y seguramente se genere vínculos entre ellos que, como nos pasa a nosotros a veces de chicos, llegan hasta cuando son grandes, y eso llegan y lo transmiten en sus países también, ¿no? Compartimos experiencias, aprendizajes, y bueno, creo que esto es lo que nos deja. Para nosotros es un premio venir acá. Sabemos que a todos nos gusta ganar, pero apostamos a la integración y a la experiencia más que al resultado. El objetivo es que ellos se vayan formando como personas, conozcan un montón de gente y entiendan por dónde va el camino de la vida.
This is very beautiful. How not to get excited with this? How not to get excited about the future with these heroes of female football? Without the support they have today, with the support in the new generations, you can imagine, Juan Pablo, the future will be better with the support. Many players, not only from the its evolution and development, but this is seen on fact. I remember when I woke up early in the mornings on Saturday, we had a league and we had a planned league for the girl who was asking. We had a minors league. However, the feeling that if it rained, we couldn't play and all the training would be lost during the week. So if you hear raindrops, oh no, we can't play. So imagine for the girls spending all this time without knowing whether there will be a tournament or not. So that's why we are here to improve these conditions. And many of the players we see shining today in Copa America 2022 went through these tournaments and they dream about winning. And we have those pictures, those penalty kicks, the celebrations. Now we want to thank Natalia, who is on the center of the screen. Natalia, we're going to use this panel now. So Natalia Gaitan from Mexico, we thank you for your participation. Now we give you a good, we, we give you a goodbye, Nati. Let's continue. We will visit you soon, so you can prepare us a Mexican meal, and we are looking forward to see you again. Thank you, Juan Pablo, and thanks to all for the invitation, and see you next time. Very well. Thank you, Natalia. And I believe when the coach speaks, let's give a microphone to Gerardo to Coach Gerardo Peluso on the first row, on the front row. I don't see you as fast as the other guy. Juanito, come on. Okay, we have Professor Peluso. If you allow me for a minute, I want to say some things. I'm excited hearing the stories from the girls, which are not different from the stories we have to tell, because football is is a single one, and those who started by playing on our bare feet on the streets, on little towns, and one day we came to get this dream that we had of playing ball or playing professional football in a stadium full of people. And when we hear the girls, this really moves me. And I want to tell you something, and I have a message. It's not just to be good with CONMEBOL, because it has happened to me like in Formiga. I have gone through all the stages, and this that CONMEBOL is living now over the recent years is atypical in the history of South American football. The support that CONMEBOL is giving to certain areas, like today to female football, or for us, for coaches who were always crying for help, that we wanted to have training, we wanted to improve, but we didn't have a response nowhere else, but nobody heard us. Until luckily we have this new CONMEBOL. They hear the players, they hear the coaches, the female players, the children. This is atypical. You need to know that your struggle needs to keep on going. If Conmebol keeps on giving things, much better, because the history in South American football has always been written from the bottom to the top. Never things came from the top to the bottom. The players, the stakeholders, the ones who have been in the fields, those who have made South American football great, they never received things from the top to the bottom. They always have done it like you did. This history that you have told, this history you have made, has been the same. The first greatest achievement of South American football in 1924 in France, in the first World Cup, Amateur World Cup, we had one national team from South America to play against the great powers in Europe. It was Uruguay's turn, and they had to travel by ship, by boat, for 20 days. There were players and parents that sold their houses so they were able to pay for their trip. Nobody took them, nobody gave them organization. They went there, they won the World Championship, and then 4 years later, they went to Amsterdam, to the Netherlands, and the finale of that World Championship back in the day. What was it? Two South American national teams, Argentina and Uruguay, and the two played the final. I don't want to extend myself on this, but even from 100 years back, the history of South American football has been constructed from the bottom to the top. Keep on fighting, keep on struggling, you are warriors, because things are gained from the bottom to the top. If something comes from the top down, welcome. But we gain things from the bottom to the top. Thank you to Professor Gerardo Peluso. And just to complement,
You know, many people feel uncomfortable when the players talk about it. Even they punish them. We are in a democracy and we are trying to get this chauvinism away from us. But if them they have the opportunity cannot express themselves, who could? It's like the Colombian league did it, the Argentinian league did it, and like Bolivia felt like they were backed up by the other leagues, and they continue on moving forward with the awards and so on. Let us not have that susceptibility. We need to be open to listen to them in what they do. That's trying to change things up. Okay. Okay, I'll stop. Thank you very much, Profe. Let us hear from the other part, the counterpart, the generation that was part of the developmental leagues, the generation that is moving forward. Oh, we have another question. We have a question here. All right. Microphone, please. Yeah, okay. Hello. Thank you for. My name, your name? Patricia Vanegas. I am a player for the first Colombian league. I want to thank you to come to Colombia and bring us this event here. And I want to just thank you all for because you are creating a new opportunity for the new generations. We open up the opportunity for your generation. We have many here professors that are creating academies in Colombia so that this second generation had these opportunities. And thank you very much. You're plowing this field so that many other people will have great opportunities. Thank you, because I know that there are many players and ex-players in here with us, and we are honored. Some of them are trainers and also reporters, and so that's how we participate. So let's move forward to the third generation, let us say, the one that is coming forward and growing with a new reality of the female football that have worked a lot with the development lines. Via Zoom, we have three players. Belén Aquino from the Peñarol Athletic Club from Uruguay, who played in the last America Cup. We're here with Belén and Juana Cándaro from River Plate that is in sub 17. She's Argentinian. We have her via Zoom. And Giamani Warachi, they call her Chuchu. That's her football nickname, who also played the America Cup, and they were trained with the developmental leagues, and they are the future and the present of the female football in South America. Not just for you to tell us your experience, Juanpi, but also to get a little bit from their experience of the generations before. Yes, Juanjo. First of all, let us give a hand to the three players here. They're very young, right? Yeah, very young. I see Elena, the gold champion. I want to know from Chuchu and her experience and how they have lived the football in Bolivia. And we're going to ask Juana as well. You see us and you see our players here perfect, yes? Can you see us okay? All right. All right, so let us begin with Chuchu so that what does a Bolivian player feel when it's still, because this happened with Ecuador a few years back, there's still a big difference with other leagues, and also that they're continuing growing. They are knocking on doors little by little, and you have the unique experience of playing with the World, with the America Cup. So, okay. Well, we need to. Can you please turn on the microphone, Chuchu? Okay. Yeah, give me a second because you're in mute. Let us see if you can have. Chuchu said that we're receiving the audio, but we need to speak a little bit louder. Yeah, real hard, real loud. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes. Yes. As hard as you can, please. Good afternoon to all of you. This is no, we have a difficulty with the audio. Let us wait. We can improve it while we go to the next girls because regretfully. So let us go to Belen while we accommodate the microphone for Chuchu. Oh, Belen, we have a lot of nationalities, but we were missing an Uruguayan, the best goalie of the tournament. What happens in the past to be going through all the stages and you're consolidated with all the national teams? Okay, good afternoon for all of you. For me, to be able to participate in this cup has been a great experience of growth, and we have to acknowledge so many people that, but. Thank you, Helen, Juana, goals, experiences in the Argentinian league. You have Lorena here if you want to ask her something and you want to cross some things or questions. But first of all, tell us, what is it for you, young player, to have the Argentinian t-shirt on and how the infrastructure is helping you develop yourselves? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, The truth is that I'm very happy to be able to be with such beautiful players, and the opportunity that I had of making goals and represent the best way possible my league. From very little, I always try to be part of this, and this is the dream that is coming true for us. Thank you, Juana. Let me propose that if we don't have the audio in Chucho, we can do some things here that if we don't get the audio, at the end she can send a WhatsApp text and we can read it aloud here. Yeah, yeah, so that we don't miss her. Chuchu, let's try. Yeah, we still with problems. Chuchu, please, say something. Good afternoon. All right, all right. Get really close. Get really close to the microphone. And okay, okay. So, good afternoon to everybody. First of all, it has been a very interesting experience, and the uh, there is no way, no audio. We have no audio. Yeah, regretfully. Like we say here, we send you, we send us a text through WhatsApp, and we'll share it here with people. Yes, we answer. So you will we continue. Okay, Fabimar. Okay, she's asking for her cell phone. This is interactive here. These are things that happens in live stream. When you're on live stream, these things happen. So she's gonna send an audio on WhatsApp. So do you wanna make the question again? Okay, she's connected so, through a microphone. Perhaps that changed things. That could have improved. Let's see. She's trying. It's a little bit the feeling I have with a game when I'm watching a game and you want the goal play, but send us the audio and we pass it on through here. Juana or Belen, without being shy, please. Yeah, like the same as you when you play in the field and you score goals, like the prophet say. I want to ask you. To Laura Romeo, the best goalie of Paraguay, and I want to ask Fernanda Penilla. Do you want to ask anybody here in the audience, or Formiga? Anybody? You want to ask something to them? No, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just tactically, if you want to ask anything, whatever you want. Okay, Juana. Okay. The girls with more experience you can change. Juana. Okay, we're going to Juana. Today you were in the lower levels in River. Now we're with Professor Bibi. Or who is your trainer? Gato. Who is your trainer? I have been 5.5 years with in River. When I started, I was with another team. We had a trainer in Larry Reyes, and now we have Vivi and now Gato, and now we have Popa as their trainer. And Mrs. Fierro, yeah, because Pepa, Vivi, and Gato, all of them were my teammates, and when we were in River and Bibi because of an injury, she left football and we studied together in university in River Plate that will give us scholarships to all our players, and so they gave us this opportunity to study. Because I remember that the first time we practiced in the middle of the field, and the little girls would play in the other half, and of the field, and then we will finish at the training, and everybody will look at us. So I don't know if you were there when we were there or not. I think I had already left to Brazil when no, I started in 2018. Yeah, I had already left. Yeah. So, but yeah, every time we finish up the training, we would sit back and wait and watch you all. It was a great thrill to watch you all play, and there was all the female players at the time, but we didn't have the first league back then. And when I went into River, it was a dream to see the greatest that you guys were playing, It was it was it was very exciting. So a question for all of you that has to do with this thing because you're very young, but you're part of a generation that watches female football as well in TV. So who are your leaders? Who are your heroes? Chuchu recovered her audio. I think. Chuchu, we're trying so hard. Okay. Hey, can you hear me now? Yeah, we hear you now. Excellent, excellent. Finally. Okay, let's go with this. What I'm telling you, if you have a hero from the Bolivian football or around the world from female football, a Marta from Brazil. Yeah, Marta from Brazil, definitely. I give a hand to Marta, by the way. And how was this experience? Like I said before, being so young in an America Cup. How is the Bolivian football growing? How do you see it? Well, it is. You learn too much in these cups, and you have huge players that you dream of being like them, and they inspire you to get better and better and more. And to know about the league, do you see that the league there in Bolivia is growing? Do you think that the Bolivian football will end up being professional? Yeah, little by little. This is a whole process, but we are going to give more and more support of the female football here in Bolivia. Thank you very much, Eliane. Best goalie in the sub 20. She is held for all the defenses. Any hero you have, a goalie you have, who inspires you to be someday better or the same as them? Obviously, right now I don't have a hero right now, but all of them. To me, I learn from everybody, and I try to grow as much as possible from the people that have given me advice. I want to ask you something because you went through sub 20 and now you're in the adults. That you would tell everybody the importance of wearing the Uruguayan T-shirt since early age and being able to be a part of the league. Yeah, the truth is that. It is good. The leagues is a very privileged place where many people would like to be. You need to value that up, and we need to continue on growing because being there is a dream for everybody. So I had to have a long process of development to be able to get to the adult league, and now it's a huge pride for me to be able to wear the blue T-shirt. For me, got any questions for them? Any questions that you could have? I didn't. I have a question. The idea is that they should take advantage of this momentum. It's not a question really because today they are the project of the future for the female football, not here but also around the world. So everybody should continue on with that work, and so everybody that will be here could have an excellent path and value what they have and to work in improvement more and more. Yeah, so that the ones that are behind will enjoy and understand the path that you're running. Fernanda, perhaps, or lady, the ones that would like to interact. It's not a question, really. It's to be able to interact with them. It is a question that will have to do with the development leagues. Okay, more than a question for the girls here, it has a lot to do in relation to what the prophet was saying a while back of this struggle that we're having all of us here. That perhaps we can have the path that we have gone through because so many experiences we have. There's some of it that we have evolved. Female football has evolved by many places, but I want to take this instance in which that there is a key word that I hope that everybody will. I know that many people here are asking this question that has to do with dignity, dignity of being a professional player. how we want to be professionals today. Perhaps some of us have contracts and we can dedicate ourselves and give sustain to a family. But how can we identify a player? I hope that are very critical. I'm not too critical, but how do we know if we go to a championship that does not give prices and awards and having to have to travel so much after such a hard game. A player will have an injury and loses everything. So that way, how can we dignify our professional players? Let us hope that they can live it in a future cup and a future classification. That has to do with that, to follow up the path and to dignify the activity and ourselves as well in regards of rest and nutrition. And I hope that they can live a better future than we did. Maria Fernanda Pinilla, many categories, but the Chilean league and the the Lioness, they call them, yeah? Yeah, the last cup was yours, yeah? The last goal was yours, yes? That was yours. You had a longer hair. Yeah, I had a different look, yes, at that time. In, in, there's a dignity issue here. What does that mean for you to be in a league that perhaps it was not very well known a few years? It didn't even exist, yeah? Like what Comebol had. What did you feel to participate in the female? In what experiences you had? Chuchu, what experience can you share with us? Okay, so in 2020, and I was in sub 16, that is in Paraguay, and well, it was a very beautiful experience with my whole team, and I have learned so many things, I have to say. Very well, Chuchu, perfect. Sometimes simple is the most effective, yeah. Juana and Belen, Juana? Uh, yeah, this is the third year that I go to Comebol, and it's a beautiful experience. We have learned so much, and the competition is so high up, and we have excellent teams. And I think that the first time I went, it was like everything was new. I had never traveled to any country to compete. And so we didn't get too far, but we knew that in a few years we were going to do it. So we trained harder, and we finally got to the third place. And it's a joy and a beautiful experience. Milena, in the development leagues, the truth is that for me it's something that is very good because you get to know all the realities from other players, and when you compete, you always find that a little bit of knowledge from the other clubs as well, and we can share things, not only in the field but also in many other places. I had to go to Italy the first time, and I realized that. The reality of each country is very different from what we were used to in our own country. Thank you, Belen. Lady, is there something else that you need to say, or do you want to ask or say? Highlight? Yeah, Belen, so we were here in the friendly games, the ones, and she was an incredible player, and we wanted to take her here in Colombia, but we were not able to. What expectations do you have for that tournament, from this tournament, and what points we should see to improve for the future? Belen, do you hear? Yeah, uh, yeah. Well, the truth is that there is always an opportunity to grow and to improve, and support, I think, is something that it is very important for us to be able to know that the people are there, and it's important that we have an American World Cup, and we went to Armenia, and obviously not many people knew that we were playing an America Cup, and but the truth is that we need to grow more, and for me, it's crucial to have the support from.
Very well. Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause for the three of them who are the present and the future of female football in CONMEBOL in South America. It's a pleasure to hear them in this panel. Thank you very much, girls, for being with us. We are wrapping up the seminar. We wanted to give you a space to listen to you. Thank you for receiving us in your place, in your home, in Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and La Paz, Chuchu place in the strongest. Thank you very much for your enriching presentations. Juanpi, speaking about generations of football, let's call Neri Pumpido, who is the development director in CONMEBOL and one of the secretaries for the South American Confederation, to wrap up this stage by making an acknowledgement to girls who made a history of football in their country. Those who are here will have an acknowledgement. Fernanda Pinilla in Chile. Chile is struggling to find a place in the playoff matches. Chile is fifth in Copa America. Lorena Benitez, who in Argentina, who is playing today for the third place, and also Laura Benitez, also for the third place, representing this match that we have in the afternoon in Armenia as of 7 p.m. today. We'll have the third place match. Professor Pompido will give the book to the girls. This book by Aida Bonfim, the stories about the South American football. Thank you very much. Those who received the book, we are wrapping up now this seminar this day and with the greetings from Neri. Now we get Lynn Pellegrino, known as Pele. Please come to the stage. Liliana Zapata, Patricia Beniguez, pioneers from the Colombian national team who represent the historic finale we have tomorrow in Bucaramanga, Brazil against Colombia. So they come to the stage to receive a recognition from Neri Pumpido to receive the book. Thanks to all of these legends, we have Eleni coming to the stage. Now she's coming fast, you see? She's in good physical condition. She's running. Now we have the Colombian players. We are missing, missing the Colombian players. Let's give it for these glories of the South American football who make us proud. They must be living very special moments with this protagonism of Brazil and Colombia for tomorrow's final match at the Alfonso Lopez Stadium in Bucaramanga, the great capital of South American football. Thanks a lot for your participation. Now that you receive a present by Neri Pumpido. Now, Neri, do you want to give some words? Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for your attendance. Thanks to all the people who participated in this seminar. That was very positive for me. We're very happy. It has had a significant impact, and I believe that this is the beginning after this Copa America that we are living. This is the initial kickoff to keep on giving more power to female football. They have the support by CONMEBOL. They know that we are giving a lot of effort from female football, from the evolution program. We have participating players that come from these development tournaments. For us, that's a great pride. So they start playing from the foundations of football. Also, we give them the support. Support will be very important that we will give from CONMEBOL so that the female football continues growing in South America. I believe we will notice that over the coming years. Unluckily, the pandemic has stopped this work. But anyway, congratulations to all of us. Thank you, Juan P. Thank you, Juan. Thanks to Gerardo, and thanks to all the organizing staff. Also, on the head of Fabi Vargas. All the people in development were very happy. This has been a superb event, and hopefully we can do it again soon. because this will show the growth of this, exchanging knowledge and everyone's opinions and the needs that the players have will be always willing to support and to help from CONMEBOL. And as our president says, always believe big. South American football is based on talent. They may improve football in Europe or somewhere else, but talents come from South American football. What do we say? We are going to believe in ourselves. We are going to believe more and more in South American football. We are going to believe that something that we tell also to the bases. Let's not copy so much. Let's believe in ourselves. Football comes from South America. Talent comes from South America. They could they can copy us from overseas, but female football is showing this in this great tournament. That is why they have CONMEBOL has given a lot. Today, the organization that female football has is the same as in the Copa America in Brazil. It's the same people organizing the tournament. That's the importance that CONMEBOL is given to this tournament, and we believe in big. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Neri. Thank you very much, Neri. And thank you very much to the area development area of CONMEBOL Evolution from the South American Confederation of Football. Thanks to all of you, those who have participated, who have been with us, those who have given their opinions, their testimony to the players, the coaches, influencing women, the leaders who cooperate to have equality, gender equality in the world and in the region. Thank you very much for being with us. To all of you that have followed us in the digital platforms from the South American Confederation, and Juan Pablo wants to give a message. Yes, we're going to continue with them, constructing, dreaming, all of us together, men and women, boys and girls. I mean, Fabimar one needs to be on the stage so that people recognize his work. Come over here, come over here, come over here, Fabimar, come on. And all of the people in the development area, Professor Peluso, come on. And all of those who have worked, they have given a lot of effort to support and to grow female football. Thanks to Monica for ide- for for their efforts as well. Who else should be here? What are the girls? The logistics. Rosana. Come on, come on. Come to the stage. Come on. The boss is coming, so come over here. It doesn't have to do with me or Juan Pablo. The development director is calling you. Come over here. Let's give it for the girls. They have made all this hard work with all of the team of development in Evolution CONMEBOL. Thank you very much from the bottom of our heart. Let's give a round of applause. Thanks to all the people who are here and those who are watching us on the CONMEBOL platform. Follow the girls networks, post things about female football. That's the only way to make it visual, to make it visible. Those who love football without a gender. And thanks to you, Juan Pablo, because you are a great worldwide figure and your contribution is huge. Let's give it for them and to all of you. And thank you very much for participating in the second seminar, Football with F of Female. We'll see you in Quito next time for the third seminar for a new issue of CONMEBOL Libertadores. Thank you very much for your company. And of course, we'll see you in the match for the third place and the great finale tomorrow between Brazil and Colombia. Let the best team win. Thanks, as usual, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.